Have you ever looked at her? Really looked and thought, if only she could see how much I care, how good we could be together. Maybe she laughs at your jokes, maybe she texts back, maybe she even calls you late at night just to talk. But still you're stuck in that gray area, wondering what's missing. If you've ever felt that frustration, that ache of being so close yet so far, then listen closely, because this might be the moment that changes everything. Before we dive in, if you're someone who wants to truly understand what makes a woman fall in love, then you're in the right place. Hit that like button to show you're serious, and subscribe so you never miss a moment of clarity like this. And whatever you do, stay with me to the very end, because what I'm about to share isn't just a trick or a tactic. It's something deeper. It's the key, and once you understand it, your love life won't be the same again. Let me take you back to a story. There was a guy named Jordan, not a model, not rich, not a player, just a guy with a kind heart and a confusing love life. He'd been friends with Sophie for 2 years. They talked every day, shared secrets, made each other laugh. Everyone said they looked perfect together, but still, she called him bestie. And that word, bestie, it burned like acid in his stomach. Jordan didn't know what he was doing wrong. He tried compliments, he gave her attention. He was always there when she needed something. But none of it moved him any closer. Until one day, everything changed. And it wasn't what he said, it was what he understood. And that brings us to the heart of this video. The this that will make her love you is emotional safety. Let that sink in. Not charm, not muscles, not flowers or gifts, emotional safety. It's the invisible force that turns just a friend into, I can't stop thinking about him. It's not something you buy, it's something you build. You see, women don't fall in love because of grand gestures. They fall in love because of how someone makes them feel. And emotional safety is that feeling that says, with him I can be fully me. No masks, no games, no fear of being judged. Let's go back to Jordan. The day things shifted was the day he stopped trying to impress Sophie and started truly seeing her. He listened without fixing. He asked questions without assumptions. When she cried about her dad, he didn't tell her what to do. He just said, I'm here. You don't have to go through this alone. And slowly, her guard came down. Not because of what he did, but because of how he made her feel safe, respected, understood. And you might be thinking, that sounds simple, but it's not easy. Because creating emotional safety takes discipline. It means not reacting when you're triggered. It means holding space for her storms, not walking away when it gets messy. It means respecting her boundaries even when they frustrate you. But here's the secret most men never hear. Emotional safety is magnetic. A woman will chase emotional safety like it's oxygen. Because in today's world, it's rare, it's sacred. And when she finds it in you, she won't want to let go. Let's break this down further. Sign number 1, emotional presence, the first spark. There's a moment early in every relationship where everything hangs in the balance. A moment when a woman is silently asking, are you really here? Or are you just playing a role until you get what you want? Emotional presence is the answer to that unspoken question. Let me tell you about Liam and Maya. Their connection didn't start with flirtation. It started with stillness. One evening after work, Maya was quiet, more reserved than usual. She didn't offer her usual warm smile. Most guys wouldn't have noticed. Or if they did, they'd try to fix it. Crack a joke. Change the topic. Fill the silence with noise. But Liam didn't do that. He noticed something was off. And instead of filling the gap with words, he gave her space. He just looked at her and said, you don't have to talk. I'm here either way. It was simple but powerful. In that moment, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in years. Safety. That's emotional presence. Being there without an agenda. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. It's the opposite of distraction, ego, or trying to be impressive. It's a man being fully tuned into her, not himself. And it matters more than most men realize. Because most women live in a world where they're not really seen. Where conversations are transactional. Or flirtation is about scoring points instead of connection. They're used to guys pretending to listen, waiting for their turn to speak. Or worse, looking over their shoulder for someone hotter. When a man is truly present, he stands out without trying. It's not about staring intensely into her eyes or nodding excessively. It's about being calm, grounded, and listening with intention. Listening like her words matter, because they do. Like her feelings aren't inconveniences, but invitations. Maya later told Liam, that night when I was quiet, I thought you'd pull away. Most people do when I'm not bubbly. But you stayed, and that's when I started to trust you. Trust, that's what emotional presence builds. It's not flashy. It's not the stuff of rom-coms or viral TikToks. It's deeper. It's slower. But it lasts. And here's the secret. You don't have to be perfect to be present. Liam didn't always know what to say, but he never tried to distract her from her own emotions. He let her feel what she felt, and made it safe for her to do so. Presence isn't about having the answers. It's about making her feel like she can bring her whole self to the table, without judgment, pressure, or performance. When a woman senses your presence, your real presence, something opens in her. Her guard begins to lower. Her nervous laughter softens. Her eyes linger longer. It's not that she's falling for your words. She's falling for how she feels around you. That calm, that space, that quiet, I'm not going anywhere energy. So if you want her to love you, really love you, don't chase her. Don't try to impress her. Just be present. Sign number 2, acceptance over judgment. The moment she feels safe to be herself. When a woman starts to truly trust you, it's not because of how funny you are, how tall you are, or how much you flirt. It happens quietly, often in a single moment. When she risks showing you a part of herself that isn't polished, and watches how you react. Acceptance over judgment isn't a grand gesture. It's not saying, I accept you like some dramatic movie line. It's found in your silence, your nods. The way you don't flinch when she opens up about something messy. Let's go back to Liam and Maya. One weekend, they were sitting on her couch watching a documentary. Somewhere in the middle of it, she paused the TV. Her body language changed, arms folded, eyes looking at the floor. Something was on her mind. She took a breath and said, there's something I've never told anyone I've dated. Now, a lot of guys would have tensed up here, jumped to conclusions, or worse, tried to reassure her too soon. It's okay. You can tell me anything, without actually being ready to hear it. Liam didn't interrupt. He just leaned back, kept his body relaxed, and said, take your time. That one sentence did more than an hour of compliments ever could. Maya told him about her struggle with depression, how she had been in therapy for 2 years, how there were days when she didn't want to leave bed. She said it quickly, like she was expecting him to change his mind about her the moment she finished. But Liam didn't change. He didn't treat her like a puzzle to fix or a fragile glass doll. He simply said, thanks for trusting me with that. You don't have to hide any of that from me. And Maya, this confident, independent woman who always kept people at arm's length, started to cry. Not because she was sad, but because for the first time in a long time she felt safe being seen fully. That's what acceptance does. It tells her, you don't have to edit yourself to be loved. Here's the thing. Every woman you meet carries stories, lived experiences, fears, mistakes, insecurities. And every day the world tells her to hide those things, to be cool, be chill, be low maintenance. But when a man makes space for her truth, even the parts that aren't pretty, she starts to trust him with her heart. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything she says. It doesn't mean never challenging her. It means responding with curiosity instead of criticism, compassion instead of control. Acceptance looks like saying, that makes sense. When she talks about why she struggles with trust, I hear you. When she shares something painful from her past, thanks for sharing that. When she tells you something she's scared to say. It doesn't require you to be a therapist. It just requires presence and respect. Women don't open up to men who try to fix them. They open up to men who stay steady while they open their heart. So if a woman tells you something vulnerable, remember this, she's not testing you, she's trusting you. And the moment you show her she's safe being fully herself around you, that's when love begins to take root. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's her leaning her head on your chest and whispering, I don't have to pretend with you. And that's everything. Sign number 3. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the key to connection. Most guys are taught that showing vulnerability is like bleeding in front of sharks. That if you open up, you'll seem weak. That if you let a woman see your fears, your heartbreaks, or your self-doubt, she'll lose interest. But the truth? Vulnerability is one of the strongest, most attractive things a man can offer if it's real. Let's go back to Liam and Maya. Things had been going well between them. They texted daily, shared weekend brunches, walked in the park holding hands like they'd been together for years. But deep down, Liam still held something back. He had this fear. not because of Maya, but because of the scars he carried. Years ago, Liam had fallen hard for someone. He'd loved her with everything he had. And one day, just like that, she was gone. No big argument. No explanation. She left him a note that said, "I'm not ready for this," and disappeared from his life. That heartbreak lived in his chest like a quiet ghost. And as he grew closer to Maya, that fear whispered again, what if it happens again? What if I open up and she leaves too? One night they were sitting on his balcony, wrapped in a shared blanket. The stars above, the hum of city life below. Maya had her head on his shoulder. It was quiet, comfortable, intimate. And that's when Liam felt it, that old fear rising. His chest tightened. His thoughts swirled. He could have hidden it, could have changed the subject. But instead he took a deep breath. "I want to tell you something," he said, voice low. "Something I've never told anyone since it happened." Maya sat up, eyes gentle. He told her about the breakup, about how it wrecked him, how he didn't eat for days, how he blamed himself. How ever since then, he's always kept one foot out the door, even when he didn't want to. And then he said the most honest thing he'd ever told her. "Sometimes being with you scares me, because I actually care, and I don't want to lose this." Silence. He braced himself. Vulnerability has that edge of fear because it's real. Then Maya reached for his hand, held it tight, and said, "That doesn't make me think less of you. It makes me feel closer to you." That's what vulnerability does. It bridges the gap between two hearts. Not by being dramatic, not by oversharing, but by being real, by showing that behind the calm surface, there's a human being who feels deeply and isn't afraid to be honest about it. So many men think vulnerability is about dumping emotions or talking endlessly about your pain, but it's not. Vulnerability is controlled openness. It's saying, "Here's something tender I don't show most people, but I trust you with it." And when a woman hears that, something clicks inside her. She sees your strength, not just in your ability to protect her, but in your ability to expose yourself emotionally and still stand tall. The truth is, vulnerability doesn't repel women. It attracts the right ones. The ones who are emotionally mature, ready to love and looking for something real. It invites her in. It makes her feel like she's not falling for an image, but a man, flawed, layered, authentic. And in a world full of performers, pretenders, and emotionally closed-off men, that kind of honesty is magnetic. So the next time you feel that fear, the one that says, "Don't tell her," she'll think you're weak. Know this. Your vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the doorway to connection. Sign number 4. Consistency builds trust, not grand gestures. A woman doesn't fall in love with what you do once. She falls in love with what you do repeatedly. You could write her poetry, take her on a weekend getaway, or send her flowers just because. But if you disappear emotionally for days after, it doesn't mean much. Grand gestures might win her attention, but it's consistency that earns her heart. Let's continue with Liam and Maya. After months of growing closer, Maya began to open up more about her fears, her past, her dreams. She'd been hurt before, promised things that never came true, loved halfway, given words without action. So even though she liked Liam, really liked him, she hesitated. One night after dinner at his place, she said it. "You're different, Liam, but I don't know if I can trust that yet." He could have been offended. Could have said, "Haven't I shown you already?" Instead, he simply nodded and replied, "I don't expect you to trust me today. I'll keep showing up tomorrow." And he did. Not with fireworks, not with over-the-top drama, but with the little things. He called when he said he would. Texted because he was thinking about her, not just to get a response. When she had a job interview, he sent her a message that morning. "You've got this. They'd be lucky to have you." When she was sick, he brought soup without being asked. When she was anxious, he didn't just say, "It'll be okay," he said, "Let's talk about it. I want to understand what's on your mind." He didn't promise the world. He just kept showing up, day after day, moment after moment. See, women don't need a man who sweeps them off their feet once. They need someone who shows up when it's not convenient. Someone whose words align with his actions. Someone who doesn't disappear just because things aren't exciting or easy. That's what builds emotional safety. Because real trust isn't built in peak moments, it's built in the quiet ones. When she's tired and cranky, and not at her best, and you still treat her with patience. When you're busy, but still carve out time to check in. When you keep your word, even when no one's watching. That's what Maya started to notice. not Liam's charm, not even his vulnerability, but his consistency. It was like laying bricks, one act of follow-through at a time. Slowly, steadily, he built a foundation she could finally rest on. One night, as they walked home in the rain under one umbrella, she stopped suddenly, turned to him and said, "You don't know how many times I expected you to disappear, but you never do." And in that moment, she wasn't falling for what he said. She was falling for the pattern he'd created. That's the real magic, because any man can impress a woman once, but very few men make her feel emotionally safe again and again. And here's the truth. Love isn't built in the highlight reel, it's built in the daily rhythm of reliability. So if you want her to love you, don't ask, "How can I impress her today?" Ask, "How can I show up for her tomorrow?" Then do it again the next day, and again. Because when she realizes she doesn't have to brace for disappointment with you, that's when she'll start to relax into love. And that's when you'll stop being someone she likes and start being someone she trusts. Sign number 5, deep listening, hearing the words behind the words. Women don't always say exactly what they feel, not because they're trying to confuse you, but because their words are often wrapped in layers of emotion, nuance, and subtle cues that many men overlook. Listening deeply isn't just about hearing what she says. It's about hearing what she means. Listening with your heart, not just your ears. Let's revisit Liam and Maya. They were sitting on a bench one Saturday afternoon, coffee cups in hand, watching dogs run across a park. Maya had been quieter than usual, tapping her shoe nervously against the pavement. Liam noticed. "How are you?" he asked. "I'm fine," she replied quickly, eyes still on the grass. Now most guys would take that at face value. She said she's fine, must be fine. But Liam had learned something. "I'm fine" often doesn't mean fine, especially not when her eyes drop and her tone softens like that. So he leaned in slightly, not pushing, just being present. "You sure?" he said gently. There was a pause. Then she looked at him and said, "I guess I just feel like I'm always the one bringing up deeper stuff. Like, I don't want to seem too much." Boom, that was the real message. It wasn't about the dogs or the coffee. It was about her wondering if her emotional depth was being met, if she was safe being vulnerable, if he could hold space for what she was feeling without pulling away. And because Liam was listening, not just reacting, he caught it. He didn't say, "You're overthinking." He didn't say, "You're fine." He said, "You never have to shrink around me. I'd rather hear your truth than your silence." And in that moment, Maya melted, because she felt understood. That's what deep listening does. It's not just about nodding and saying yeah while scrolling your phone. It's not waiting for her to finish so you can talk. It's being attuned, watching her body language, hearing the tremble in her voice, noticing when her energy shifts. Women don't want perfect responses. They want presence. Sometimes deep listening means hearing what she's not saying. When she says, "It's been a long week," it might mean, "I feel drained and need some comfort." When she says, "I'm just tired," she might be testing to see if you'll ask why or if you'll brush her off. And when she does open up, deep listening means not jumping in with solutions, not fixing, just feeling with her. Liam wasn't always the most eloquent guy, but he had one superpower. When Maya spoke, he was there, fully, no distractions, no ego, and Maya noticed. She once told a friend, "With Liam, it's like he hears the parts of me no one else even sees." That's what every woman craves, emotional attunement. It doesn't make you less masculine. In fact, it's one of the most powerful masculine traits. To be steady and grounded enough to hold space for a woman's emotions without trying to dominate or avoid them. Listening creates emotional intimacy, because when a woman realizes you can hear her in ways others don't, she starts to feel like she's not alone anymore. She begins to believe, maybe this time I don't have to explain myself. Maybe I can just be understood. And that's rare. That's sacred. So if you want her to fall in love with you, not just be attracted, but truly love you, then listen like her words matter. Because they do. And when she knows you hear her, not just the surface stuff, but the feelings underneath, that's when she'll whisper the 4 words that change everything. "I feel seen here." Sign number 6, emotional maturity. Being her calm, not her chaos. In a world full of emotional roller coasters, drama, ghosting, and mixed signals, emotional maturity is like finding shelter in a storm. It doesn't mean you never feel anything. It means you know how to handle what you feel without projecting, blaming, or running away. And nothing makes a woman feel safer, more drawn in and more emotionally connected than a man who can remain calm when she can't. Let's go back to Liam and Maya. Their relationship wasn't perfect. No real one is. One evening, Maya had a rough day. Work had drained her, her family had stressed her out, and she was overwhelmed. By the time Liam arrived with dinner, she was distant, cold even. He asked, "You okay?" "I'm fine," she replied. But her tone was sharp, defensive, not like her. Now this is where a lot of men make a fatal mistake. They get reactive. They say, "What's your problem?" Or, "Why are you taking this out on me?" Or worse, they shut down completely and leave. But Liam, he took a breath. He remembered something important. It's not always about me. Instead of escalating, he stayed calm. He didn't take her mood personally. He simply said, "Sounds like today was heavy. Want to talk about it or just be quiet together?" Maya blinked. She wasn't expecting that. She was expecting a fight, a tug-of-war of egos. But instead, she found stillness. That's what emotional maturity gives her, safety in the face of emotional chaos. Later that night, when she had softened, she confessed, "I'm not used to someone staying calm when I get like that. I usually push people away. You stayed." Liam just smiled and said, "You don't scare me." And right there, love grew deeper, because real men don't make her walk on eggshells. They don't match her storms with thunder of their own. They become her grounding force. It doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you've mastered them. You can feel anger without lashing out. You can feel fear without running. You can feel hurt without punishing. That's emotional maturity. It's not needing to win every argument. Apologizing first when you're wrong. Being okay with her needing space. Holding your ground without raising your voice. Letting her vent without making it about you. It's knowing the difference between her feeling safe with you and her feeling like she has to manage your emotions for you. Women don't want a perfect man. They want a stable one. Because emotional instability, jealousy, passive aggressiveness, silent treatment, emotional outbursts exhaust her. But when you stay calm in moments when she can't, that's when she lets go of her armor. She begins to trust that she can be vulnerable without things falling apart. She stops walking on edge and starts leaning in. Because emotional maturity isn't just attractive, it's essential. It says, "I've done my work. I'm not going to project my past on you. I'm here, steady, clear, and I can hold this relationship without crumbling." Liam didn't always know what to say, but he didn't need the perfect words. He brought peace. He brought presence. He became Maya's calm, not her chaos. And in a world of men who don't know how to handle emotions, that alone made him unforgettable. So if you want her to feel safe, if you want her to relax into love with you, then be the emotional anchor in her storm. Because when she finds a man who doesn't add to her emotional weight but helps carry it, that's when love doesn't just feel good, it feels safe. Sign number 7, show her you see her, not just what she offers you. There's a subtle line that separates genuine love from attraction. It's the difference between wanting someone for how they make you feel and loving someone for who they truly are. Women feel this difference deeply, and nothing makes her fall harder than a man who sees beyond her surface, who notices what others overlook, who values her essence, not just her looks or what she does for him. Let's bring it back to Liam and Maya one last time. One night, Maya came over wearing sweatpants, no makeup, and her hair tied up in a loose bun. She looked tired, beautiful still, but clearly not trying to impress anyone. She apologized when she walked in. "Sorry, I look like a mess today." Liam looked at her, paused, and said, "Actually, I think this might be my favorite version of you." She laughed. "Yeah, right. I'm serious," he said. "You're comfortable, relaxed, real. You're not performing. You're just Maya." And in that moment, something shifted in her eyes. Because she realized he sees me. Not just the curated, pretty version. Not just the fun, charming, sexy side, but the whole complex, layered woman underneath all that. Most men fall for a highlight reel. But Liam was paying attention to the unedited version. He noticed how she'd stopped to give her leftovers to a homeless man when they walked downtown. He saw how she laughed harder at dumb puns than at clever jokes. He noticed how she bit her lip when she was thinking too hard. He remembered little things she said in passing weeks ago and brought them up later. Once she mentioned that when she was a kid, her dad used to whistle a certain tune in the mornings. A month later, She came over and heard Liam humming the same melody while making breakfast. She stopped in the doorway. Tears welled up. "Why are you humming that?" she asked. "You said it reminded you of home," he replied simply. That's what it means to see her. Not to manipulate, not to impress, but to observe, to pay attention to what lights her up, what breaks her heart, what makes her her. You see, every woman secretly wonders, do you like me? Or just how I make you feel? If you only comment on her looks, if you only react when she's fun or flirty, if you only engage when it benefits you, she'll feel that. She might still date you. She might still have fun with you, but she won't fall in love. Because love isn't about attention, it's about recognition. When she feels seen, she feels safe. When she feels understood, she feels valued. When she feels appreciated for her soul, not just her beauty, she opens her heart wide. That's why Maya stayed. It wasn't Liam's charm. It wasn't his confidence or even his vulnerability. It was that in a world full of men who looked at her and only saw her body, Liam saw her being. So if you want her to love you, not just like you, not just date you, but truly love you, then do this. Notice her. Remember her stories. Compliment her mind. Praise her efforts. Acknowledge her growth. Speak to her soul. Because when a woman is seen, she blooms. And when she blooms in front of you, because of you, with you, that's when you're not just another guy in her life. You become the man she never wants to live without. So now let me bring it home for you. If you want her to love you, not just date you, not just flirt with you, but truly love you, then give her what the world often doesn't. Give her emotional safety. Show her that with you she can exhale, she can rest, she can be. Because when a woman feels safe, when she feels seen, heard, accepted, respected, loved, the way she will look at you will change. Not because you're perfect, but because to her, you'll finally feel like home. And isn't that what we're all looking for? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.